The sky darkened as the massive ships appeared. They were like nothing humans had ever seen, dark green with odd patterns that reminded some of scales. They hung over major cities without making a sound. In Seoul, people stopped in the streets to look up. Cars stopped. Phones came out to take pictures. News channels switched to emergency broadcasts. President Kim sat in the underground command center, surrounded by advisors. Her face looked tired as she watched the screens showing the ships. "What do they want?" she asked. Nobody had an answer. The ships had arrived 3 hours ago and had not sent any message. "We've tried all frequencies," reported General Park. He was an older man with a stern face, but even he looked worried. "Radio, digital, even light signals, nothing." President Kim nodded slowly. "Keep our forces on alert, but no aggressive moves. We don't know what we're dealing with." In another room, Ambassador Lee and his team worked frantically to establish contact. They sent messages in every known language, mathematical sequences, and simple pictograms. The aliens remained silent. "Maybe they communicate in ways we don't understand," suggested Dr. Song as she studied the limited data they had. Her specialty was alien biology, though until today that had been theoretical work. Their ships suggest a reptilian design aesthetic. If they evolved from reptile-like creatures, their senses and communication methods might be very different from ours. The situation changed when smaller craft began descending from the motherships. They landed in parks, empty lots, and suburban areas, not in military bases or government centers as expected. The first images of the aliens shocked everyone. They stood nearly 7 feet tall with muscular bodies covered in scales that shifted between green and blue. Their heads featured small crests and their eyes were large with vertical pupils like a cat's. They moved with surprising grace for their size. General Park pushed for military action. "We should strike while they're scattered," he argued, "and potentially start a war we can't win." President Kim shook her head. "No, we wait and watch." In a small house in the Gangnam district of Seoul, the Han family huddled around their television. Mr. Han held his wife's hand tightly as they watched the news. "They've been spotted in 20 different locations across the city," the reporter said, voice shaking slightly. "Authorities advise everyone to remain indoors and away from windows." Mrs. Han pulled her daughter closer. "Mina, stay away from the windows, please." But 8-year-old Mina couldn't resist. While her parents whispered worriedly in the living room, she sneaked to her bedroom window. The garden below was quiet in the evening light. Then something moved near their small fish pond. Mina gasped as a tall figure emerged from behind a tree. It was one of them. A creature, as the news had started calling them. Its scales gleamed in the fading light as it examined the garden with curious movements. Mina wasn't as scared as she thought she would be. The creature moved carefully, almost gently as it touched the leaves of plants and peered into the fish pond. It didn't look like it wanted to hurt anything. The creature suddenly looked up, its large eyes meeting Mina's. She froze, afraid to move. The creature tilted its head, studying her with what seemed like curiosity. Across the city, similar scenes played out. The aliens made no aggressive moves, but showed interest in everyday objects and environments. They collected samples of plants, soil and water. When approached by military or police, they retreated but didn't attack. In the command center, new reports came in hourly. "They're not responding to threats or welcomes," said Ambassador Lee, looking defeated. "It's like they don't recognize our attempts at communication at all." Dr. Song reviewed footage of the aliens. "Look at their body language," she pointed out. "They're using a lot of physical gestures among themselves. Maybe they communicate more through movement than sound." Resident Kim made a difficult decision. "We keep watching, we keep trying to communicate, but we also prepare for the worst." As night fell over Seoul, the Han family finally went to bed, though sleep was difficult. Mr. Han checked all the locks twice. Mrs. Han kept the news playing quietly on her phone. Mina lay awake, thinking about the creature in their garden. It hadn't seemed scary up close, just different and maybe a little lost. She wondered if it would come back tomorrow. Outside, under the stars and the watching alien ships, the world waited to see what would happen next. Morning arrived with no changes. The alien ships still hovered silently above. On TV, experts argued about what the visitors wanted. Some thought they came in peace, others warned of danger. Mina sat at the breakfast table, pushing rice around her bowl. Her parents looked tired. They had stayed up most of the night watching news. More aliens landed during the night, her father Jin said, eyes on his phone. The military has set up zones around the city. No one goes in or out. Her mother nodded. Your school called. Classes are cancelled until further notice. Normally, no school would make Mina happy. Today, it just felt scary. She thought about the alien she had seen in their garden. Had it been scared too? After breakfast, her parents sat glued to the emergency broadcast in the living room. The reporter said aliens were being spotted in more places around Seoul. Some had tried to enter buildings, but retreated when people screamed. Stay inside. Do not approach the aliens, the reporter warned. Mina slipped away to her room. She gathered her favorite toys, a soft bunny, some colorful blocks, and a ball that lit up when bounced. Then she peeked out her window. The garden was empty. She felt disappointed. Part of her had hoped the alien would come back. Her parents were still focused on the TV. Mina quietly opened the back door and stepped outside. The morning air felt cool on her face. That's when she heard it, a strange sound coming from behind. The garden shed. It was like a mix between a hiss and a whimper. Mina clutched her bunny toy tighter and walked slowly toward the sound. When she rounded the corner of the shed, she gasped. The alien was there. It looked just like the ones on TV, tall with greenish-blue scales. But this one was different. It was sitting on the ground, holding its leg. A dark liquid that looked like oil dripped from a cut. The alien looked up and saw her. It hissed loudly, showing sharp teeth. Its crest rose up on its head like an angry cat's fur. Most children would have run. Mina stood still. Are you hurt? She asked softly. The alien didn't respond to her words. It tried to move away but winced. In pain. Mina set down her toys and took a small step forward. The alien hissed again, but softer this time. I'm not going to hurt you, she said. She picked up her bunny and held it out. This is Hop Hop. He makes me feel better when I'm sad. The alien's vertical pupils widened slightly as it looked at the toy. Mina put the bunny down in front of the alien, then backed away a few steps. She sat down and started arranging her blocks in a circle. The alien watched her, its breathing slowing down. After a few minutes, it reached out one long-fingered hand and touched the bunny. The movement was gentle, almost like it was afraid of breaking the toy. Do you want to play? Mina asked, looking up from her blocks. The alien tilted its head. It didn't understand her words, but it seemed to understand she wasn't afraid. Mina pushed her light-up ball toward the alien. It rolled and stopped near its good leg. The alien stared at it, then poked it with one finger. The ball lit up with blue and green lights. The alien made a new sound, something like a chirp. Mina smiled. You like that? She continued building, with her blocks while the alien examined the ball, pushing it to make it light up again and again. The tension between them eased with each passing minute. After a while, Mina remembered the rice ball her mother had packed for her snack. She pulled it from her pocket and unwrapped it. Are you hungry? She asked, holding it out. The alien looked at the food, then at Mina's face. Slowly it reached out and took the rice ball. It sniffed it first, then took a small bite. Its eyes widened, and it quickly ate the rest. Mina giggled. You were hungry, the alien made the chirping sound again. Then, to Mina's surprise, it picked up one of her blocks and held it out to her, an offering in return. This is how Mina's father found them minutes later. He had noticed the back door open and rushed out in panic. But when he rounded the corner of the shed, he froze. His daughter sat cross-legged on the grass, building a tower with her blocks. Across from her, one of the aliens that had terrified the world was carefully placing a block on top of her tower. Jin's first instinct was to yell, to grab Mina and run. But something stopped him. The scene before him wasn't frightening. It was peaceful. Mina, he said softly, not wanting to startle either of them. Both Mina and the alien looked up. The alien's crest rose slightly in alarm. It's okay, Dad, Mina said calmly. This is my new friend. I think he's hurt. Jin looked at the alien's leg and saw the wound. Then he looked into the alien's eyes and saw something he never expected. Fear, pain, and confusion. not so different from what humans were feeling. In that moment, everything changed. The video of Mina and the alien playing spread quickly across the internet. Someone had filmed it from a neighboring yard. A small human girl and a 7-foot-tall reptilian being sitting together building with blocks. President Kim watched the video in her office, leaning forward in her chair. "Get me that family," she ordered. "And Dr. Kang from Seoul University. Now." Within hours, Mina and her parents sat in a large room with government officials. The alien, whom Mina had started calling Taro after her favorite cartoon character, sat beside her. Its leg was bandaged by a brave doctor who had treated it while Mina held its hand. Dr. Kang studied the interaction between them. She was a short woman with glasses and quick, bright eyes. Her specialty was animal communication, and she watched Taro with great interest. "Notice how it mirrors the child's movements," she said quietly to President Kim. "When she nods, it tilts its head the same way. When she offers something, it offers something in return." "But why won't it respond to our translation attempts?" asked Ambassador Lee, who had spent days trying to communicate with the aliens. Mina, overhearing this, looked up. "Taro doesn't talk with words. He talks by doing things together." The adults looked at her. Dr. Kang kneeled down to Mina's level. "What do you mean, Mina?" Mina shrugged. "Like when he wants to know if I like something. He gives it to me and watches what I do. And when he's happy, he makes chirp sounds and copies what I do." Dr. Kang's eyes widened. She turned to the officials. "The child may be right. What if the Krita don't communicate primarily through language? What if they communicate through shared activities?" This idea changed everything. Dr. Kang set up tests. She brought in toys, games, and simple tasks. Each time Taro engaged, sensors recorded its reactions. The alien showed most interest in activities that required 2 or more participants working together. "They're a cooperative species," Dr. Kang explained later to world leaders on a video call. "They don't understand our words, because words aren't their primary communication method. They understand actions, especially shared ones." On screens, around the world, people watched as Dr. Kang demonstrated. She and Mina sat with Taro building something with blocks. When they worked well together, Taro made happy chirping sounds. When they deliberately misunderstood each other, Taro made low rumbling noises and showed them the correct way. "Children understand this instinctively," Dr. Kang said. "They communicate through play naturally. Adults tend to rely too heavily on words." As if to prove her point, reports came in from around the country. In Busan, an 8-year-old boy named Dae had approached a group of Krita in a park. Instead of running away, he showed them how to play rock, paper, scissors. The aliens had picked up the game quickly, soon playing with each other. In Incheon, a girl called Sue had taken her kite to where aliens were examining trees. She showed them how the kite flew in the wind. By evening, the Krita were helping her make more kites, using their strange tools to create beautiful flying designs. Similar stories emerged worldwide. Children approached the aliens without fear and communicated through shared activities. The Krita responded positively to these interactions. "We've been approaching this all wrong," President Kim told her advisors. "We've been trying to talk to them when we should have been trying to do things with them." A week after Mina first met Taro, 3 larger Krita ships landed near Mina's neighborhood. People watched nervously as 4 tall Krita, with more elaborate crests than others, walked purposefully toward the Han family home. Security forces surrounded the house, but were ordered not to interfere unless necessary. Inside, Mina's parents held each other's hands tightly as the doorbell rang. Mina opened the door to find Taro standing there with the 4 new aliens. Taro made a chirping sound and gently pushed Mina forward. "I think he wants me to show them what we've been doing," she said to her worried parents. In the living room, the tall aliens watched as Mina spread out games and toys. With amazing confidence, the small girl approached the largest Krita and offered it a puzzle piece. The room was silent as the alien commander examined the piece, then placed it correctly in the puzzle. Mina clapped her hands, and after a moment the alien copied her, its scaled hands making a strange slapping sound. Dr. Kang, who had been called to observe, whispered excitedly into her recorder. "They're learning our social reinforcement signals." For 2 hours, Mina showed the aliens different games. They played with blocks, drew pictures, and even tried a simple board game. With each activity, the aliens became more engaged, making various sounds and gestures to each other. Then something remarkable happened. The lead alien, whom they later called Naro, took small objects from a pouch and arranged them on the floor. It was showing them a Krita game. With hand gestures, Naro demonstrated how to move the pieces in patterns. When Mina correctly followed the pattern, all the Krita made happy chirping sounds. Through a series of drawings and acted scenes, the elder Krita Naro began to explain their history. They showed how their ancestors hunted in groups, using complex cooperation. They demonstrated how young Krita learned through play rituals that taught cooperation and strategy. This is how they evolved, Dr. Kang realized. Their language isn't just about play, it's about working together. That's why they responded to children first. Children naturally invite others to play and cooperate. As the sun set outside, humans and aliens sat together, learning each other's games, beginning to understand one another through the universal language of play. 1 month after first contact, playgrounds across Earth looked very different. Tall, scaled figures moved among human children, playing games and building structures together. Adults watched from the sidelines, still nervous but increasingly relaxed. President Kim signed a new order that officially recognized playground diplomacy as Earth's approach to alien relations. Children under 12 years old who showed special talent for connecting with the Krita were given the title of junior ambassadors. Mina became the first junior ambassador. She wore a small pin with Earth and Krita symbols joined together. Her school friends were both impressed and jealous. "What are they really like?" her best friend June asked during lunch break. "They're just different, not scary," Mina explained. "Taro likes music and colors. He gets sad when things break. He's confused about why adults talk so much but do so little together." Scientists made an important discovery when studying the tools the Krita carried. What had looked like weapons were actually sophisticated devices for changing environments, tools for what the aliens considered their most important games. Dr. Kang demonstrated this at a press conference. She invited a Krita to show how a long gun-like tool actually created instant small gardens. Another tool could change the temperature and moisture in an area. A third could create temporary structures from almost any material. "They're not weapons of destruction," Dr. Kang explained. "They're tools of creation. The Krita transform environments as a cooperative activity. What we thought was an invasion was actually an invitation to play." 3 months after first contact, Mina received a special invitation. The Krita wanted her family to visit their mothership. They would be the first humans to enter the main alien vessel. "Are you sure it's safe?" her mother asked, as they rode in a special elevator up to the hovering ship. Mina nodded confidently. Taro promised, and Krita never break promises about play. When the doors opened, the Han family gasped. Inside was not the cold metal interior they expected. Instead, the mothership looked like an enormous playground and garden combined. Sections with different environments, forest, water, rock, and others they couldn't name, spread out before them. Krita of different sizes moved through these areas, working together to change and shape their surroundings. Some built complex structures. Others grew strange plants. Young Krita practiced with smaller versions of the tools. Taro led them through the ship, showing how each area served a purpose. What looked like random play was actually the way the Krita maintained their ship, grew food, created art, and taught their young. In a central chamber, they met with Elder Naro. Using a new translation system that combined simple words with action symbols, Naro explained the Krita's journey. "We search galaxy long time," the translation came through, "looking for others who understand." "Understand what?" Jin asked. "Play, build, grow together," Naro responded. "Most species we find, adults control. Adults fear difference, only attack or hide." Mina's mother frowned. "But not human adults?" Naro made a gesture they now recognized as Krita laughter. "Human adults also fear. But human adults listen to small humans, this new, this good." "You came to Earth looking for friends?" Mina asked. "Yes. Friends who build, play, learn together," Naro confirmed. We find many planets. Some have life. Most life does not understand. Cooperation play. Just survival. We search long time for species who play to learn, not just to win. Dr. Kang, who had joined them on the visit, took careful notes. So your species evolved with play as your primary way of learning and developing. Technology? Yes, Krita young learn through play. Krita old create through play. Play is work, work is play, all together. The visit changed how Earth viewed the aliens. News of the beautiful living ship spread. People began to understand that the Krita weren't conquerors, they were explorers looking for creative partners. Schools around the world began implementing Krita human play sessions. Busan's Harmony School created the first formal exchange program, where Krita younglings joined human classes 3 days a week. Teacher Jun watched in amazement as his students built a complex water filtration system with their Krita classmates. None of the children had known how to build such a thing before, but together they figured it out through trial and error. They don't tell each other what to do, he explained to visiting officials. They show and adjust and try again. The Krita never say that's wrong, they just show a different way. The most surprising change came in how schools taught. Traditional lessons with children sitting at desks gave way to active learning. Students and teachers worked together to solve problems and create projects. We're learning from them as much as they're learning from us, Principal Moon of Harmony School told reporters. Their way of teaching through cooperative play leads to incredible creativity. 6 months after the ships appeared, fear had given way to excitement. Humans had gained new friends, new technologies, and new ways of learning. All because one little girl hadn't been afraid to play with the alien in her garden. What do you think will happen next? A reporter asked Mina during a special interview. Mina smiled, looking at Taro, who stood nearby. I think we'll play more games together. Maybe visit their home planet. I think this is just the beginning. 1 year had passed since the Krita ships first appeared in Earth's skies. The world had changed in ways no one could have imagined. Where there had once been fear, now there was friendship. Where there had been misunderstanding, now there was cooperation. And where there had been silence between species, now there was the joyful sound of play. Mina sat in a special chair designed for her in the new Global Cooperation Center in Seoul. At 9 years old, she was probably the youngest person ever to attend an international meeting with the president. The space station plans look wonderful, President Kim said, examining the holographic display the Krita had set up. When will construction begin? Eldonaro made the chirping sound that humans now recognized as approval. Moon orbit next month. Complete 6 months after. The space station, officially named the Playground, would orbit Earth as the first human-Krita joint project. Its design reflected both species' ideas, practical human living spaces alongside Krita interactive environments. Mina had helped design the children's areas. Her drawings showed hybrid play spaces where human and Krita children could learn together. Will other aliens come too? Mina asked. Taro, now serving as Earth's official Krita ambassador, nodded. He wore a special translator device that converted his chirps and movements into simple words. Friends come. 7 species. All play learners. This was the most exciting news. The Krita had introduced humans to their galactic neighbors, other species who communicated through cooperative activities. Soon, representatives from these worlds would visit the playground. After the meeting, Mina's school class took a field trip to the new Interspecies Learning Center. Once it had been just a regular park. Now it featured strange plants from the Krita homeworld and play structures unlike anything seen on Earth before. Remember when everyone was afraid of them? June asked, as they watched young Krita climbing on a moving puzzle structure. Mina nodded. Mom wouldn't even let me look out the window at first. Now my little brother has a Krita best friend, June said. They build sand castles together every day. The changes went beyond friendships. Human technology had advanced rapidly through cooperation with the Krita. New medicines came from Krita plants. Clean energy systems based on Krita science powered cities with almost no pollution. In return, humans had shared their music, art, and stories. The Krita had no concept of fiction before meeting humans. They were fascinated by the idea of creating imaginary worlds and characters. Imagination is humanity's gift, Dr. Kang had explained at a recent conference. The Krita excel at transforming physical environments, but humans transform mental landscapes through stories. Together, we create things neither species could, alone. The United Nations had recently established the Minahan Initiative for interspecies communication. The program sent children to train as communication specialists for future contact with new alien species. Children see possibilities where adults see problems, President Kim had said at the launch ceremony. They approach difference with curiosity instead of fear. Not everything had been easy. Some people still distrusted the aliens. Others worried about changes happening too quickly. But most agreed that Earth was now a better place than before. In the evening, Mina and her family took Taro to Hangang Park. The riverside park had become a favorite meeting place for humans and Krita. As the sun began to set, the park filled with families from both species. Mina and Taro sat on a bench watching children play. Human children taught Krita younglings to play soccer. Nearby, Krita taught humans how to use small environmental tools to create temporary bridges across shallow water. "Remember when we first met?" Mina asked Taro. "You were hiding behind our shed." Taro made a soft rumbling sound that meant laughter. "Scared. Leg hurt. Not no humans." "I was scared too," Mina admitted, "but also curious. Curious good. Scared." Normal play connects. Taro's translator conveyed his simple wisdom. Mina's father joined them, carrying ice cream cones for everyone. Even the Krita had developed a taste for human foods, especially sweet ones. "Message from Elder Naro," Jin said, checking his phone. "The first representatives from the Glynn system will arrive next month. They want you both at the welcome ceremony." Mina licked her ice cream excitedly. "What are they like?" "Like singing. Birds but with 6 legs," Taro explained. "Make music together, very beautiful." As darkness fell, lights came on along the river. Some were normal park lights, but others were Krita light plants that glowed in shifting colors. Human and alien technologies working together, just like their children played together. In the play area, a small human boy fell and began to cry. Before his parents could reach him, a young Krita helped him up and offered him a glowing toy. The boy's tears stopped as he became fascinated with the light. "That's why we came," Taro said softly. "Find friends who help when others fall." Mina nodded, understanding. What had begun with fear had transformed into something beautiful, not just peace between species, but true friendship and cooperation. As stars appeared overhead, Mina thought about the space station being built and the new alien friends coming to visit. Earth had gone from a lonely planet to part of a galactic community, all because a little girl wasn't afraid to play with a visitor from the stars. "What game should we teach the bird aliens first?" she asked Taro. "First game not important," Taro replied, his vertical pupils reflecting the park lights. "First smile important, first helping hand important, games come after." Together they watched the children play under the night sky, no longer separated by fear, united by the universal language of play.